Arguably, Muhammad Ali's greatest ever performance came when he squared off against deadly puncher George Foreman. Ali was a heavy underdog coming into the fight, due to Foreman coming in as the undisputed heavyweight champion with a 4-0 record, and he hadn't been past the third round in 5 years. Incredibly, Ali managed to defy those odds and define a new style known as rope-a-dope. Ali began the fight very active on his feet, utilising the entirety of the ring and sniping at Foreman. The hand fighting immediately became a big factor, with George looking to pull Ali's hands down so he could find his own punches over the top. To negate this, Ali was often initialising exchanges with his rear straight, bypassing Foreman's pawing hands, which were usually focused on the lead hand of Ali. The straight punching was the building blocks of Ali's tactics to beat George Foreman. He knew he could not risk getting too close and fighting in the pocket with a much heavier puncher, so instead he intercepted with jabs and straights while Foreman was pressuring, and found hand-fighting success of his own by swatting away the gloves of the champion and finding counters in between. Even once Foreman was able to back Ali up into a corner or against the ropes, the jab was constantly peppering him, breaking his rhythm and interrupting the work of the hand-fighting. The fact Foreman's guard was almost never up by his face certainly played a factor in Ali's unwavering accuracy with the jab in these moments, but that is not to take away from Ali's impeccable timing whilst in the heat of every exchange. And as the fight went on and George began second-guessing his work for the fact he was being intercepted frequently, it only allowed Ali to build off the jab in the split seconds of hesitation. By the third round, George cottoned on to the fact that the range the majority of the match had been fought at only aided Ali, so he began trying to force his way inside and rough Ali up in the pocket. However, Ali never showed George any respect as he did this. He was quite happy to push him off and continue to fight beyond the straight punching, or alternatively Ali would tie up and force Foreman to carry his weight, adding to the fatigue which would quickly catch up with George in the preceding rounds. Ali became more and more comfortable against the ropes as the fight progressed, thus utilising the famous rope-a-dope to its full potential. He would stand square on and let the ropes take all of his weight, so he could easily pull back from Foreman's punches and find counters in between, allowing Foreman to punch himself out without taking too much damage in the process. Being on the ropes gave Ali the freedom to move his head wherever he pleased due to not needing to keep a solid base underneath him. The ropes were acting as his support system, therefore negating the need to be in stance, and in a squared position you have much more mobility in your upper body compared to either in orthodox or southpaw. As Foreman got tired, his hand fighting became less of a useful tool to find punches and more of a desperate attempt to keep Ali's jab at bay. This backfired heavily, however, as the laboured reaches of the gloves only served to open space for Ali to double and triple up on the well-established jab, giving George even less time and space to attempt to work himself. The finish came as Foreman once again entered behind a lazy, pawing rear hand which Ali came inside of with a solid 1-2. As George attempted to smother to buy himself some valuable seconds, Ali framed off with his forearm, creating enough separation to come over the top with a straight which wobbled the champion. Once Foreman was hurt, Ali adjusted his feet brilliantly to stop George falling into him and disrupting the onslaught, hopping back to maintain the distance while still holding his stance and planting his feet when punching. And that was all she wrote as the ref waved it off in the 8th round to see Muhammad Ali become a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion and cement himself as the greatest.